Hi, everyone, and welcome to Ask Lois, the Relatable Therapist. My name is Lois Godot, and thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. This channel is to help encourage positive family dynamics, and I give tips and strategies on how to do that. And I use reality TV, I use real life events, or anything else that I find that can help me help you have positive family dynamics. And so I'm continuing my commentary on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And so before we get started, let me do my disclaimer. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And so today, we're going to continue our commentary, and I want you to stay tuned because I give a little synopsis of what's going on in the reality series, and then I'm going to talk about when should you cut relationships with someone in your family, and then ways in order to do that. So stay tuned after I finish my little synopsis. So let me go ahead and put the people up that we're talking about. Today we're going to talk about Letitia Scott. She's the one in the pinkish orange, and then her cousin Kiki Jabbar, she's the one that's in the yellow. Both of them are cousins, and there was a situation early on in the series where Kiki was upset with Letitia because she told Melody something that was very personal to Kiki's. What she told Melody was that Kiki was popping pills and she had to go to a rehab. And so Kiki felt betrayed by Letitia for telling that. Letitia said she told it because Melody and her husband Martell, she wanted them to know the type of person that they were getting into a relationship with. Well, throughout the series, because of that, they didn't have a good relationship. Kiki was talking about Marceau, Letitia's husband, having an affair, and she kept hinting to she knew the person he was having an affair with, and so that caused, as you may have noticed, a rift in their relationship. But they supposedly had gotten it together, and so Letitia asked Kiki not to talk about her marriage, not to talk about her husband, and so Kiki agreed, but we saw in the reunions how she kept saying things. And so Letitia, she was feeling some type of way like she was betrayed by her cousin. And so now Letitia is not really talking to Kiki. Then we find out that Kiki has been in another incident, this time with the law where she was on TV and they caught her stealing. And so now Letitia is even more taking a step back from her cousin, and her cousin is upset about that. And so what does she do? She talks to Melody. Melody about who the person is that Marceau, Tisha's husband, had the affair with. So she's going around talking about that, and she says it under the umbrella of, I just don't want my cousin out here looking bad. I don't want him making her look stupid. But the person that's making her cousin look stupid is her, because she's constantly talking about how stupid her cousin is for staying with him. Her cousin doesn't want to hear it because, like a lot of women, Letitia's not at the place where she wants to really confront the issue. People keep telling her about what her husband's doing, and she doesn't want to talk about it. And that's her right. But for some reason, Kiki thinks that if I embarrass her enough, if I talk about her marriage enough, if I drag her enough, then Letitia's going to want to hear me. And obviously, Letitia doesn't want to hear her. And so the last season 6, the last episode that just aired, Kiki is trying to get Letitia to listen to her. They're at a barbecue at Kimmy and Maurice's house. They're having a barbecue. And Kiki gets so mad because Letitia is ignoring her that she throws a drink in her face. To me, that has escalated from just talking about the person to now you're physically assaulting. Even though it's water, she's still physically assaulting her. And so now Letitia is very upset. Of course, her husband, Marceau, is very upset. And you see in the next episode that the husbands are going to kind of have words about that. And so that's why I want to start today. As I listen to, the reality show and I watch Letitia and Kiki, the question that I have is, when is it time to cut ties with the family member? Because some of you, just like Letitia, might be in a relationship where you have a family member and they are constantly saying and doing things to the point that it's starting to affect your mental health. It's starting to become unhealthy because Letitia says throughout the season that, that she's exhausted trying to defend the allegations out there, that she feels drained, that she has to keep talking about it and keep hearing about it. and it's starting to affect her mental health. And so when something starts to affect your mental health and it starts to become unhealthy, that's when you need to start thinking about, should I cut ties? And so one of the things that you need to look at when you're trying to consider cutting ties is this person disrespecting me, and are they crossing boundaries? We see in this series that Kiki constantly disrespects Letitia. Letitia said, "Don't talk about my marriage. Keep my marriage out your mouth." What does Kiki do? She keeps talking about her marriage. She keeps putting her marriage in her mouth, and she keeps crossing boundaries. She talks about her in front of people. She talks about her behind people. She's constantly saying negative things, crossing the boundaries with Letitia. The next thing she does, if a person is physically and verbally abusive, that may be a time to cut ties. Whether they're name calling you, which Letitia, Kiki constantly calls Letitia stupid, she's dumb, she's allowing this to happen. Um, she's criticism of her choice. Letitia has decided that she doesn't want to hear it and she doesn't want to talk about it. And so Kiki doesn't like that choice that she's making. So she's constantly talking about her. And when she threw the water in her face, that escalated up to physical. Then one another way to know when you should cut ties is when a person constantly lies or manipulates you. Kiki has lied to Letitia by saying, "I'm not going to talk about your marriage. I'm not going to interfere. I'm not going to tell Melanie." And she does the exact opposite. She tells Melody, the person that is Letitia's enemy, she talks about her and she constantly lies to her about what she's not going to do. And she's constantly doing it. And what gets me is that she keeps saying, "I don't want Marceau to have my cousin out here looking stupid." And it's like, do you think the things that you're doing is even helping the situation? Another way you know to cut ties is when that they do causes you distress. And obviously, this is distressing Letitia because she says, "I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling drained." So, because of those reasons, I think that she needs to cut ties with her cousin Kiki. Now, the next question is, well, then how do you cut those ties? Because some of you might be in the same situation with a family member and feeling an obligation that because they're family, I need to continue to have a relationship with them. Because that's one of the things throughout the series that Letitia said, "This is my cousin. We grew up together. We have a bond. We talk to one another. We used to be close." So she's feeling some type of obligation to her. But again, this relationship is unhealthy. It's unhealthy for her. And so she realizes that, something has to be done. And so ways that you can do this is exactly what Letitia's doing. She's not letting Kiki pull her into drama, and she's not commenting on any of the messy situations. But again, Kiki doesn't want to let that stand. She keeps trying to pull Letitia into it. At the table, she was even talking to Stormy, but really talking to Letitia, but acting like she's talking to Stormy, and she doesn't want to listen to me. And she's just ignoring this. And she's really trying to bait her and draw her in. But Letitia's doing what she should do, which is practice detaching herself. Next thing is to avoid topics that bring strong emotions. And we see Letitia is, "I don't want to talk about it because it's going to cause me to be upset because they keep talking about her husband." Who wouldn't be upset if someone keeps talking about your husband? Every time you see them, they're hinting, whether it's a family barbecue, a family get together, this barbecue, they're constantly saying, "Your husband's cheating. Your husband's cheating." Why are you so vested, Kiki, in saying this? That lets me know that this is not about you wanting to make sure that Letitia is not hurt. It's because I think it's a dig at her. It's a dig at her because you're upset. Next thing is that to keep the conversation light and casual. If you're trying to cut someone off, just keep it casual, which means that we're not going to talk about anything deep. We're just going to keep everything surface. And you see Letitia, when she talks to Kiki, she's keeping things surface. She's not really trying to go deep with her because, again, she's trying to disconnect from her. Another thing you can do is either end a conversation or leave a conversation. And we saw when Kiki came up to the table, Letitia, she left. And of course, Kiki's upset because you have to know that when you're trying to detach from somebody, they're going to be upset, the family member, because they don't want to detach, because they want to continue to cause problems and to continue to have you upset and stressed out. So Kiki very clearly sees that Letitia's trying to ignore her. She's trying to detach herself, and she doesn't want that to happen. And the thing that you need to know is just because you detach from somebody today doesn't mean this is going to be always. But at this moment, because it's unhealthy and it's causing you distress, this is why you need to detach yourself. So, just looking at the reality series Love in Huntsville, this particular episode, I my commentary is my point of view is that Letitia should cut all relationships with Kiki. She should cut it because she tried to give her the benefit of the doubt and she tried to reconnect with her and forgave her. And Kiki, she's just not following what she said she was going to do. So she's continued to distress Letitia, and I think she should disconnect from her, and I think she should cut the relationship. So let me know what you think down below. I'm loving the comments, keep them coming, and it's okay if we have contrasting perspective, contrasting points of view. So I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel because this channel, like I said, is all about encouraging family dynamics. It's encouraging positive family dynamics. And I give the tips and the strategies because a lot of things that's happening in real on these reality TV and in real life is things that's happening in your life. And so we can learn from it. We can learn a lot from these reality TV shows. So go ahead and subscribe. And if you know someone that could benefit from this, share this video with them. And here's another video that's going to help you on your quest to create wonderful family dynamics.